Enemy, brought to you live from New York by your Oldsmobile dealer.
Boy is engaged to the Earl of Cumberland's daughter. Messy affair, what?
Interesting item in the shipping news. HMS Prudence is a year overdue from India. Messy affair, what?
Here's some news of young Lieutenant Bottomley. Had his head blown off at Sandhurst. It's a messy affair, what?
Here's a bit of news from the colonies. They've elected that George Washington chap president.
I say, it looks as if the colonies are gone.
For good.
Forever.
Well, as commanding generals in their Majesty's forces in America, we certainly did all we could.
Messy affair, what?
See here, General Howe. If that was directed at me, I refuse to accept the blame.
Now, General Cornwallis. Nobody's blaming you for anything. It was just an unavoidable turn of events that led to your bungling at Yorktown.
General Clinton, when I said I surrender at Yorktown, the words did not come as shocking news, since you had already popularized the expression in all of your campaigns.
Gentlemen, please, I beg you, let us not fight. I recall those as your exact words at the Battle of Lexington, General Copeland.
Gentlemen, must we go through this day after day after day, blaming ourselves, berating each other? There's no need for it. The history books will do it for us.
That's all very well for you to say, General Howe, but it is my name that will go down in history as the man who surrendered at Yorktown. I'll never know why I didn't send a corporal or somebody to do it for me.
My dear General, historians will blame many things for the loss of the war. They will say that the whites of our soldiers' eyes were far too big at Bunker Hill. They will certainly say it was a blunder to have sold that beautiful, swift, fleet-footed stallion to Paul Revere. And they will no doubt blame us for not putting notices all along the Delaware River, no crossing. But gentlemen, the defeat was not caused by any of these petty incidents. Neither did it involve military stratagem, maneuvers, or the clash of arms. No, the birth of the 13 colonies into what is now gloriously known as the United States of America was caused by the simple fact that one afternoon I dropped in for a bloody cup of tea at Mrs. Murray's. She is the cause of our downfall.
Oh, preposterous. No war is ever lost because of one woman.
You're quite right, General. There was another woman. Her niece, Betsy.
Oh, yes, I forgot, of course. I shall never forget the day we left England. All the wives and sweethearts and relatives were there to see us off. The morale of the troops was high. Everybody thought the war would be over by Christmas. It was all very gay, if you remember, gentlemen, and yet it was somehow rather sad. And there was a song we all sang. What was it? Can you remember?
Oh, yes, I think I know it. It went, la-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, no, Cornwallis, that was their song.
Oh, sorry.
Ours went, cheerio, little mother of mine. Don't be weary, oh, with the sea and the homeland. Anything I'm happy to do for the king, for the country and you. Cheerio, I will hold you again with your dreary old little head on my shoulder. Soon the wind will blow homeward. Oh, so cheerio, cheerio.
When we left over on the way over,
Mother tried her best just full of wood.
So cheerio, little mother of mine,
Mother of mine,
don't be weary, oh, for the sea is the homeland.
though I am far away, anything I am happy to do for the king, for the country and you. Cheerio, with you go. Soon the vine will blow homeward. So cheerio, cheerio, cheerio. Messy affair, what?
Cheerio, little mother of mine, don't be weary, oh, with the sea and the homeland. Anything I'm happy to do for the king, for the country and you. Cheerio, I will hold you again with your cheerio, little head on my shoulder. Soon the wine will go homeward, oh, so cheerio, 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 cheerio.
So this is little New York. Well, it's a quaint little town. Not worth all that fighting, I must say.
Ah, but it's an excellent seaport, General Howe. And now that we've taken Long Island, we control the entire sea coast.
Yes, yes, of course. New York. New York. Don't like the name very much. Perhaps you could change it. New Howe? Housetown? Housylvania? Oh, well, we'll think of something. Ricard, what's this?
I say, Peter Stuyvesant. Last governor of the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam, later New York, 1647 to 1664. A great statesman devoted to his country, his duty, and his home.
That's a lie carved in granite. Don't you know the real story, my boy? When mein Herr Peter Stuyvesant was governor of the town, he went every night to the tavern and drank all the burgundy down. His wooden leg till dawn would peg, while wifey at home would frown. And as he would tumble home in the gloom, his wife knew the sound of his boom, boom, boom. Sweet Peter had a wife and couldn't cheat her. Naughty Peter couldn't cheat her with his boom, boom, boom. Sweet Peter, wide awake in bed, he'd cheat her. Naughty Peter, he would greet her with his boom, boom, boom. Home would he stumble, with the key he'd fumble. Downstairs he'd tumble when she threw a broom. Sweet Peter had a wife that couldn't cheat her. Naughty Peter couldn't cheat her with his boom, boom, boom.
Sweet Peter, wide awake in bed, he'd beat her, naughty Peter, he would greet her with his boom, boom, boom. When he'd tumble, when the king he'd stumble, downstairs he'd tumble, when she grew up good. Sweet Peter had a wife and couldn't cheat cheater. Cheater couldn't cheater. With his boom, 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 de boom, boom. With his boom, 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 de boom, boom. With his boom, 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 de boom, boom. With his boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom.
General Howe. It has just been learned, sir, that Washington and his troops have retreated to Harlem Heights and will make their stand there.
Thank you, Sergeant. Harlem Heights? Have these rebels no consideration?
Well, sir, we could sail up the East River and land at Kip's Bay. That would cut the trip in half.
Kip's Bay, splendid. Let's head for there now.
Splendid. Thank you, Mrs. Murray. I followed your recipe exactly. This is the best lead we've cooked yet. It will make beautiful bullets. Shall I pour? Is that all there is to it? That's all, my dear. Just let it cool before shooting at the British. Well, Adele, how are you doing? Very nice, Adele, very nice. I think it needs just one more teaspoonful of gunpowder.
I hope I know how to cook food again when the men come home.
If we don't send them these little goodies, Adele, they might not have a home to come home to.
Mrs. Murray, the new batch is ready.
Son, your biscuits were terrible, but your cannonballs are supreme. Speed it up, girls, speed it up. You won't see your sweethearts for a long time now. I'm afraid this is all they'll have to keep them warm this winter. Revolution going on outside. All day we sit and soaking wet. What happened?
I didn't have a chance to dry off. I just grabbed my clothes and ran. The British just landed at Kips Bay.
Girls, hide everything.
It was terrible. Well, Betsy and I were swimming around in Kips Bay, and suddenly the cannon shots burst all around us. And, well, I just grabbed my clothes and ran.
Betsy, what happened to Betsy?
Blown to bits.
Oh, my poor Betsy.
It was horrible. A cannon shot made a direct hit on her clothes. Oh, she's still swimming around in Kips Bay. She's ashamed to come out.
Oh, thank goodness she's all right. If only we could send word to General Washington to counterattack around the other side of the island, drive the British out, and bring a dress with them.
Were there a lot of soldiers? 2 boatloads. And if they come here, what will become of us? Oh, will they take us prisoner? Oh, let's try.
No. There's no time for that. They're probably all over the island.
Well, maybe we shouldn't be so frightened. I always heard the British were gentlemen.
Gentlemen. 3,000 miles from home. 88 days to cross the ocean, and you expect to meet gentlemen.
But can't the officers control the men?
The officers, don't count on them. They get first pick. No, ladies. I'm afraid that while our country is having a revolution, this house will be engaged in total war. Gather near, my pretty ones, and cluster. Gather near, I pray you do not fluster. Hear what Mrs. Murray says and trust her. Your carriage you must muster. An Englishman in time of peace will never harm a soul. But the wolf comes out of the lambkin's fleece when the drums begin to roll. War is war, war is war. A soldier feels reflections that he never felt before. A uniform can make the palest frail young fellow feel his mail. Every soldier is a frightful brute and snatches little ladies for his loot. Hooray, we're gonna be fraternized. Hooray, we're gonna be fraternized. War is war. War is war. War is war. A soldier's never satisfied. He always looks for more. A modest man can take the mildest child like this is simply wild. Have a care or you'll be crying, boo, when a major general takes you. Hooray, we're gonna be fraternized. Hooray, we're gonna be fraternized.
Sergeant Smithers, take your men and examine those hills.
Aye, sir.
Hurry on. Ahoy there! Are you friend or foe?
Get away from here, you British pig!
Friend. Come out of that water.
No! It will take Fat King George and the whole British fleet to get me out.
Don't be silly. Why should I allow the king in on such a good thing? Come out.
Not until the war is over.
Very well, I shall come in and get you.
Don't you dare, English officer. I have no clothes on.
Oh, that's too bad. I'll throw you my hat.
Swine.
Very well. Here's my coat. Oh, I say, you'd better take my waistcoat, too.
Well, turn around.
But it's not polite for a gentleman to turn his back on a lady.
You beast.
And a beauty. Very well. Come out. Cheerio, I will see you again with your dreary old little... I say, you do look extremely charming in red.
I'd rather be in black, dead and buried.
Well, I could have left you in the water. You were beginning to turn a lovely shade of blue.
Well, I guess I should thank you for the coat.
No.
And now, if I could borrow your pistol, I'd like to blow your brains out.
Oh, my dear young lady. Do I annoy you that much?
Oh, it's nothing personal. After all, we just met. It's all you British I loathe and detest.
Well, I'm certainly glad I found you swimming instead of in the front lines.
What's your name? I want to look forward to seeing it in the casualty list.
Captain John Copeland, ma'am. Aide to the commanding officer of His Majesty's forces, General Howe.
Betsy Winthrop, loyal supporter to General Washington and chief hater of His Majesty's lily-livered forces.
Yeah. You know something? I don't think you're as patriotic as you sound. You're just a cranky girl. However, fetchingly cranky. As a matter of fact, I might even say quite beautiful. Especially your lips when they're closed.
An officer and a gentleman.
I'm sure I beg your pardon. I should not hold your hand. I've not planned to be forward, so don't misunderstand. My arms should not enfold you. I'm sure it must be wrong. It seems so sweet. I would go further if I could. I'll have to steal a kiss, I fear, so you must pardon me, my dear.
Captain, you're so persuasive. I'm sure I beg your pardon. I must withdraw my hand. I've not planned to be weaker, so don't misunderstand. I must forbid caresses. I'm sure it must be wrong. It seems so sweet. I beat a maidenly retreat. I'll have to slap your face, I fear, so you must pardon me, my dear. Now, I'd like to go home, burn this coat, and get into some good, clean American clothes.
Oh, you live near here? Splendid. I've been looking for a place where General Howe might stop for a brief rest before we push on. Would you be good enough to show me the way?
A Tory general in my house? Never.
My dear young lady, as a British officer and gentleman, I ask you nicely to show me the way. Shall we go?
Get ready, ladies. I see a red coat. Follow, red coats. One step further, we shoot.
It's me, I'm Margaret Betsy.
Advance and be recognized.
Why don't you take your coat off?
It is Betsy. Betsy, are you all right?
Yes, I'm Margaret.
She won't be unless you lower your guns. I warn you, ladies, not to fight. There are 1,000 British troops behind me.
Is that true, Betsy?
I'm afraid so.
Yes, and you've come to ravage and pillage our homes, to steal our possessions, destroy our land, and slaughter our livestock.
Well, not quite. My commanding officer would like a hot cup of tea.
Don't you believe him? It's a British lie. They want more than just tea.
That's true. Perhaps a fresh biscuit if you have one. Now put down your arms, ladies, and I assure you none of you will be harmed.
First, release that girl.
When I see you lower your arms...
Betsy, I'm so glad you're all right. Oh, why didn't you shoot? What a disgrace. disgrace, having to serve tea to General Howe. Don't be silly, Betsy. The General's going to be very surprised at what comes out of our kitchen. Now, go get into some decent clothes.
General House, sir.
Captain, you're undressed, sir.
Lady in distress, sir.
Oh, I quite understand.
General Howe, this is Murray Mansion. It seemed to me a suitable place to rest before pursuing the rebel.
Murray Mansion, eh? Are the occupants Whigs or Tories?
They're all ladies, sir.
Oh, then who cares? Gentlemen. Charming, Copeland.
Thank you, sir.
Simply charming. Rum luck we've got to pursue Washington over that dreary Harlem wilderness. Much prefer to be having an intimate little skirmish on this delightful lawn.
Well, General, sir, you might have that, too.
Oh?
The ladies had weapons when I arrived here.
Good heavens, why?
They're afraid.
Afraid?
And they're alone and unprotected and have undoubtedly heard fantastic stories about what the British officer do to captured women.
I never thought of that. Oh, well, they're a nice little spot. Where are these poor, frightened little doves?
They're coming, General. Good luck, sir.
Oh, thank you. Here they are.
Your tea, General.
Thank you. My word. My word. A rose blooms in the desert. What is your name, dear lady?
Mrs. Margaret Murray.
Married?
Widowed.
Sorry. And how long has Mr. Murray been departed?
15 years.
15 years? That's a long time for a woman to be without someone to brew tea for.
Yes. But now that you're here, General, please try some of my special brew.
With pleasure, dear lady, with pleasure. What do you flavor your tea with, madam? Vinegar?
Gunpowder.
Oh, tell me, was your husband a British general by any chance?
Oh, would you like a biscuit, General?
No, thank you. I'd prefer to be blown up from outside. But really, there's no need to go to all this trouble to get rid of me. And have no fear. I shall not take advantage of your indelicate situation.
I have no doubt of that, General.
Oh, why have you no doubt of that, madam?
I might be frightened of roaring cannons, of screaming shell bursts, but not of an old war horse.
Really, Mrs. Murray, you seem to be rather ignorant about the facts of war. Cannons often fall apart in battle. Shells very often miss their mark. But old war horses always get where they're going. Romeo was very youthful, but unskillful, to be truthful. Couldn't love her undercover, though he tried. Old Don Juan was over 50. With a great romantic gift, he had it in him. He could win him till he died. Youth in love may be the passion. Young men may excel in passion. They begin it, love a minute, then depart. Though an old boy may be shop-worn, and his head a trifle top-worn, good old Noah was just 80 when he lost his heart. May I have the pleasure of a dance?
Do you think you're still able to?
My dear lady, when I'm unable to point my toes forward, it'll only be because all my toes are pointing upward. You must be old enough to love.
General, your eyes are bulging.
Boys have no training, they all need explaining. Though you are 40 or above.
General, hadn't we better stop dancing? I've never killed a man before.
You can approve a maneuver, remove her like a glove. Don't you think I'm a delicious dancer, madam?
Yes. I imagine that in England this dance is all the rage among the older sets.
Well, I wouldn't know, of course. Mummy always packs me to bed right after dinner. Boys fall for fair ones older than their own mammas. Grandpas get the rare ones with the purple pajamas. Methuselah could choose a 13th of 22. You must be old enough to know just what to do. You must be old enough to. You must be old enough to. You must be old enough to. Shall we rest and save some for later?
Excuse me, sir.
Oh.
But it is getting a little late, and I might suggest we start moving the troops out toward Harlem.
Excellent idea, Copeland. And it might be much more exciting to chase Washington than just to be chasing. Call out the troops.
What are you going to do with that gun?
General Howe drank our tea, and now he's going to pay for it.
Don't be crazy. They'll kill us all.
What's that?
It's the Patriots.
Let him in quickly. Who are you?
I come from General Washington. Our scouts have informed us that General Howe is here. We need your help desperately.
And what can we do?
General Putnam and his troops have been cut off from Washington's main force. He needs time to join them. Now, if General Howe and his men could be kept here long enough, then Howe could slip by and meet with Washington at Harlem Heights.
But how can we keep them here?
Well, that shouldn't be difficult. In fact, I'd like to stay here myself. Remember, keep them here as long as you possibly can.
Now I know why men say a woman's place is in the home. That's where the dirty work is done.
Well, madam, we really must be going. Had your smile been a little sunnier and your tea a little tastier, the war may have been a little merrier. As it is, we'll simply have to part as we started. Not very good.
Excuse me, please. Pardon me, please. Pardon us, General.
General Howe, Captain Copeland. Oh, surely you aren't going. You must stay for dinner and taste our good American cooking.
Well, if it's as patriotic as your tea, madam, thank you, no.
Oh, and Captain Copeland, I hope you noticed I had your coat pressed and brushed. It's a lovely coat, and I do want to thank you for lending it to me.
I say, is the war over? What happened?
Yes, Betsy, what happened? Well, I don't know what's happened to me, but, well, suddenly I feel that we're all human beings. And just because our governments disagree, there's no reason why our personal loneliness cannot be relieved by our sitting down at a table and sharing a simple meal together. I'm sorry, but war sometimes does terrible things to people. Betsy, what come over you? Just received word from General Putnam to keep them here at all costs. Oh, she's right. Here at all costs. Please, General, we have enough food and wine for you and your officers, and I promise you, a sunnier smile, tastier tea, and...
Say no more, madam.
But, General, what about Washington?
Copeland, we are the enemy. Let him chase us. Come, madam.
But, General, sir, I must insist...
Oh, Captain Copeland, please, just for dinner, I want to make up for the way I've acted.
You know something? I don't trust you.
You don't?
Around soldiers and horses for so long, it's just nice to talk to a girl again. Especially a beautiful girl.
Oh, Captain, you've got a one-track mind.
Mm-hmm. Here in my arms, it's adorable. It's deplorable that you were never there. When little lips are so I share next to my heart, it is ever so lonely. I'm holding only air, while here in my arms, it's adorable, it's deplorable that you were never there.
I know a merry place at your command, sir. It's just the very place, yet near at hand, sir. There you can smile away, cares that you while away. It's not a mile away, if you only knew.
If I knew,
It's such a merry place.
if I knew,
It's just the very place.
kissable, it's permissible for me to ask my share. Next to my heart, it is ever so lonely. I'm holding only air. While here in my arms, it's adorable. It's deplorable that I would never, never be. Such a merry place, just a merry place.
That's the most beautiful dinner I've ever had. And you danced like an angel.
Thank you, General. It's been so long since I received such a sweet compliment.
Compliments come very easy when I dance with you, Betsy.
Isn't it a shame we wasted all that time being enemies when we could have been friends?
You know, Betsy, I've never met anyone quite like you.
Oh, I'm sure there must be some girl back home that you favor.
Only my mother. I've never found anyone to compare with her up till now.
Oh, really, General? The longer you stay here, the nicer I'll find you.
Well, I don't want to go at all, but I really must be going.
Oh, just for a little while, Captain. It's still early.
But maybe a little too late to catch General Washington. Will I ever see you again, Betsy?
Who knows? War is a great intruder. We really should take advantage of what little time we have.
Well, perhaps you're right. I'll speak to General Howe about it.
Perhaps you're right, Margaret. I'll discuss it with Captain Copeland.
You'll never regret it, Captain. You'll never regret it, General.
Well, I must say that things have been happening in the most pleasant fashion ever since I've been in America, and full of surprises. First of all, there's your tea, and then there's this delightful part of the country.
But you haven't seen the really interesting places yet.
No, I haven't, but I'm full of anticipation. Where do you suggest, for example?
Well, for example, you could meet me in the forest of Manhattan. There Our secret corners we can chat in. There's a sylvan den, a sweet secluded Harlem glen, and we can find a cozy cranny in Manhattan.
Just the kind that nanny goats have sat in.
Love will find repose where the Hudson River flows. When the moon is shining down on Wall Street, meet me in the shadow of the wall.
Now we run from every great and small street. Half a mile up Broadway, you can hear the crickets call.
We will hire a wagon, we can speed in. All the thickest woods we'll journey through.
And I'll feel like Adam in his Eden in the lovely Bronx with you.
Tell me where it is, and I'll meet you.
To the Nile or Pole, dear, I don't want to go, dear. No, I'll meet you where the Hudson flows. Where the Hudson River
You know, Betsy, I don't think the war is going to last very long. At least I hope it won't.
I wish it were over, too.
Somehow, just being here with you, it seems the war is over.
Somehow your being here helps.
Tell me, Betsy, if we do win and the British are in control again, will you still want to see me?
If you'll only bide the time and fortify your heart, fortune will decide the time when sorrows will depart.
Let's put heads together and be fancy-free. Make our troubles disappear. Let bliss appear and see all the jolly times of days to be.
By and by, not now, but by and by, somehow we'll try and buy a little nest.
Scheme a while, when we'll only dream a while. 'Twill only seem a while, and love will do the rest. Our happy days will come, no slight delays will come. The bright sun's rays will come from out the sky. Every cloud just flies on That's our bugler. The men must be preparing to camp here for the night.
Oh, good. Tomorrow's Sunday and you can sleep late.
But this is insane. If we stay here tonight, it means that Washington will get completely out of reach. I'm sorry, Betsy, but I must see General Howe at once.
Well, what made you change your mind so suddenly?
Well, it just occurred to me that I have to make a battle report to the War Office. And I might have a little difficulty spelling Gavat. I'll be back to say goodbye, Betsy.
Beg pardon, Mum. I was told Captain Copeland was here.
Oh, he just left.
Well, Mum, do you know where I might find him? I have an important message for him.
An important message? Is it very important?
Well, very important, Mum. Military matter.
Oh, well, in that case, I'd better take you right to him. I think he's somewhere with General Howe. Will you just follow me, please? Oh, Aunt Margaret, have you seen Captain Copeland? This gentleman has an urgent military message for him. Won't you help us look?
An urgent military message? Oh, I think I saw him go...
Toward the cellar.
Yes, toward the cellar.
Come right along, right this way. Let's see now. Oh, girls. Have you seen Captain Copeland? This courier has an urgent military message for him.
We thought we saw him going toward the cellar.
Yeah.
Oh, now that you mention it, so did we.
You're right. I'm sure that's where
Come right down. Round to the left.
You're right. Quite right, Copeland, but I really think we should be marching at once. Will you get the men prepared for a forced march immediately?
Yes, sir.
And Copeland, I think you might get them to saddle two of the fastest horses we've got.
The fastest, sir?
Yes. I thought we might join the troops tomorrow afternoon.
But, General Howe, sir, it's important that we leave tonight.
On a night like this? Don't be absurd, Copeland.
I'm afraid it is our duty, sir.
Duty, oh dear, you are a spoiled sport. But a magnificent soldier, no doubt. All right, you get the men prepared, and I will go and say goodbye to the ladies.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's he doing back there? Come on. You're going to get finished. Oh, be nice.
Now, just what was that message you had for Captain Copeland?
You must be balmy, lady. You'll all be shot for this, kidnapping a king's courier.
You better tell us what it is.
Outnumbered by a bunch of blue-in ladies. Look, ladies, if you just let me go and deliver the message, I might put in a plea of leniency for you.
Oh, if you don't tell us what it is, you'll be pleading for leniency.
That's
Well,
right.
I'm that terrible sorry, ladies, but I've been to the front line for 5 months now, and I must say an handful of women don't frighten me much.
Betsy. I don't think we're going to get him to talk at this rate. But what can we do? Torture.
Torture?
Of the worst possible kind. So, you've been for 5 months in the front lines, have you?
That's right, Mum.
I suppose your rations got rather tiresome after a while.
Hard-tack and biscuits never did appeal to me very much.
How long has it been since you've had a big slice of fresh mince pie?
Mince pie? Not since I left London.
How long has it been since you've had a slice of tender suckling pig?
Suckling pig?
So tender you don't even have to chew it. It just glides down your throat.
And sweet pickles, so juicy and tangy, and hot, fresh baked bread.
Sweet pickles? They're not bread? I'll report you for this. It's against the rules of warfare. It ought to be outlawed.
You're right. But you can have all this wonderful food if you'll just tell us the message.
I'd die first.
And don't forget, you can wash down the mince pie, the suckling pig, the juicy pickles, and the fresh bread with the most delicious ale ever brewed.
You witches! Only a blinking woman could think of such fiendish torture.
The message, courier.
The message, courier! It's no use. We just have to throw it to the door.
No, please don't do that. It's in me boot. It's not my fault. It's the blasted British commissary.
Here it is.
Oh, good.
British have found out that General Putnam has been cut off from Washington and is trying to slip by tonight. Imperative that your forces prevent Putnam from rejoining Washington in Harlem Heights. We must keep them here a few more hours. We need a plan. Well, we've wined them and dined them and danced them to death. They just won't stay any longer.
Hey! Give me me pie! You got me tongue hanging out so far I wouldn't trade the blasted meal to capture Washington himself. Now give me pig.
We'll give him some pig. He's given us a plan. Sure. Cheerio, little soldier of mine. Don't be weary, oh, with the sea of romance. Anything you're happy to do for the king and the general and you. Cheerio, I'll hold you again with your weary, oh, little head on my shoulder. How soon you go homeward, home. So cheerio, 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 cheerio.
Can't seem to find Miss Clary anywhere, sir.
Oh, thank you, Sergeant. It's extraordinary. We mustn't leave without saying goodbye to her. Perhaps she's at the buffet table. Come along here. Ah, Mrs. Murray, we really must be going.
General, could I speak to you for a moment in private?
Sounds very intriguing. Another minute won't hurt, Copeland.
General, something happened when you came here this evening. You brought a warmth to a widow's heart that I haven't felt in 15 years.
Well, I did try.
Since meeting you, General, there's nothing I want more than to have the war over as quickly as possible so that we can start cementing British-American relations.
Well, I'm all for it, dear lady. You can't guess how much.
I've just found out some information which might not only hasten the end of the war, but might also make you a lord.
A law? Law? What is it?
Just learned that General Washington was planning a meeting in this house later tonight. The Americans don't know that you're here. I'm sure they still intend to come.
Washington here? But he wouldn't be so stupid. Surely the Americans must know we're in this vicinity.
Exactly. And they're counting on you taking precisely that attitude.
How devilishly tricky. And what a prize. Washington and a peerage. And every peer must have his lady. Well, I'll stay. But let's keep it our little secret.
It's so hard to believe. Thomas Jefferson coming here to meet with General Washington tonight? Tell me, Betsy, why do you want me to know this?
Well, it's because I've fallen in love with you, John. And I want the war to be over. And I want you to come home to me. General.
A general? Well, I guess it is possible if I could live at Jefferson.
Are you quite sure Benjamin Franklin?
Oh, yes, Lieutenant. They're having a big meeting here tonight. They'll make you a captain, please.
A captain?
I tell you, Sergeant, it's the truth. John Adams will be here tonight. Well, they'll make you a lieutenant for this.
Don't breathe it to a soul.
No.
John Adams. Patrick Henry?
Yes, Corporal. They'll probably shoot me for telling you. But I'm so mad about you, Sergeant.
Gentlemen, owing to information that has reached me secretly, I suggest that we stay.
General, I'm so glad that you're not going to leave.
So, my dear lady, it's so lonely at the front. All those men. It's just like an army of hermits. Mind you, as a soldier, I'm not against regimentation, but I'm avidly against hermitization. When winter passes, lovers and lasses bud into blossomers, lovers. Love is a germ, it's rough on the hermits. Birdies sing above, bullfrogs croak of love. In the spring a hermit's weary, no one near to call him dearie. What do all the hermits do in springtime? when the little birdies sing above.
Every clinging vine knows that it's springtime.
As we cuddle oh so snug, every hermit has a gal to hug. Kiss me once for every lonesome hermit. Moonlight nights to them don't mean a thing. They can't hold a tree as you're holding me. What do all the hermits do in spring? Hermits never care to marry, they're so very solitary. They're erratic and ecstatic, they're phlegmatic and romantic.
In the spring when we make merry, hermits feel unnecessary.
Springtime is the best narcotic to induce the sense erotic. In the spring you'll find that various little feelings are precarious. In the springtime it's nefarious not to be a bit gregarious.
No sensation, no elation, how can hermits help a nation?
All the stupid meditation can't increase the population. What all the hermits do in springtime, when the little birdies sing of love, they can't hold a tree as you're holding me. Hermits never care to marry, they're so very solitary.
General, you said that.
Oh, so I did. What do all the hermits do when the birdies sing? What do all the hermits do in spring? Who is this man?
I'm a king's courier, sir, with an important message. But I was kidnapped and tortured by these feminine fiends.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Murray. He offered to help with the dishes, so we untied him.
And what is the message?
Who are you, sir?
General Howe.
Well, I don't want to be tricked again. I'm sorry, sir. The message was for Captain Copeland.
Oh, dear, they told me they made me a general that I get all the messages first. Well, what is the message, you fool?
General Putnam's troops are trying to slip through tonight to join Washington's army.
So, madam, that's why we've been dined and duped and danced to prevent us from getting Putnam to the main force. Well, madam, courier, you must have something to eat. You must be starving.
I suggest we get underway at once, sir.
If it's not too late, have the men drawn up at once.
Yes, sir.
Well, madam, through your gallant efforts, I've lost Putnam, Washington, and probably the war. And if you're thinking up any more little disasters for me, I'm at your service. Mrs. Murray. Come, gentlemen.
Congratulations, Miss Winthrop. I'm sure they'll build a statue in your honor. I would suggest stone. It's most befitting.
Too bad you won't be here for the unveiling. Oh, but perhaps you'll be passing by this way on your big retreat.
Evidently, I was trained for the wrong kind of warfare. I was always taught to fight out in the open.
That's it. You've been sewing the same button on that coat for the last 2 hours. What's the matter?
Matter? Oh, nothing's the matter.
Now, Betsy, it may be treason for me to say this, but I think you're a little sorry that our coup came off so well.
Don't be ridiculous. What could be more wonderful? General Putnam was able to rejoin Washington, and the British lost a big opportunity.
And you'll never see Captain Copeland again.
Good.
Oof. You know, Betsy, I wouldn't exactly like this to get about Liberty Hall, but I was getting rather fond of the General.
You were?
Does that shock you, Betsy?
Not in the least. After all, two people meet and, well, your backgrounds may not be the same, but, well, after all, you can't be responsible for his politics.
Exactly.
A man is a man, a woman is a woman.
And, woman, you're in love with that man.
Desperately. But I've been ashamed to say it. He's gentle, and he's such a handsome thing. When I shone, reserve goes on the wing. Though I know I'm maimed, I just want to faint. I try to toss, but only want to cling. I'd like to hide it. I'd like to hide it. I'd like to smother down the flame inside. But though I've tried it, I can't abide it. My heart keeps beating just the same inside. It goes a pitter-patter, and though I want to tell him no, my heart has cried it, so I confide it. I'd like to hide it, but I love him so. I know just what you mean, Betsy. My heart feels like it's got a cork in it. With every thrill I feel, my will resign. To my chagrin, my blood turns into wine. When I hear him speak, oh, I grow very weak. I try to growl as chills run down my spine. I'd like to hide it. I'd like to hide it. I'd like to smother down the flame inside. But though I try, I can't abide it. My heart keeps beating just the same inside. It goes a pitter-patter, and though I want to tell him no, my heart has cried, so I confide it. I'd like to hide it, but I love him so. I'd like to hide it, but I love him so. Well, at least we're helping to win the war. Try saying that on a cold winter's night. When you get to be my age, Betsy, you'll feel the same way in the summertime. John!
I hope I'm not too late for the unveiling.
Oh, we're in British hands again. Thank heaven.
Stand back, ma'am. He's a prisoner of war. Do you have a well-bolted room we can keep him in?
Yes. The cellar. It's right that way. What a lucky girl you are, Betsy. The war could last another 10 years, and life for you would be one long, happy trip to the cellar.
I brought you some dinner.
Still whining and dining me? Of course, now it's too late. I'm not in such a hurry anymore.
How did they capture you?
Well, I would like to say in the midst of battle. However, I was merely on my way back to Philadelphia to headquarters to be shipped back to England. Evidently, they had other plans for me.
What do they usually do with prisoners?
Keep them in cellars, I guess. Had I known it was this one, I would have asked to be shot. Officers get special privileges.
Oh, I know you have reason to hate me, but... Well, I guess I should be thankful. At least you won't forget me.
You know, you were really very clever in keeping me here. I wish you could be as successful at getting me out.
Getting you out?
Hmm.
And you'd go back to England?
Happily forever after.
All right. I'll do it. It would be doing a good turn for my country. Getting rid of an enemy.
Still patriotism first.
Not always.
Here. I'll have to have another. It's a long trip home.
It's always been hail and farewell, brief a meeting, moment fleeting, but memories of love will wear when you start your sad departure. In your heart, your regrets you bear well.
Betsy, I've wanted to tell you for so long how really beautiful you are, but
Here's a kiss, I'll give you this as keepsake of our love. With a fond adieu, I'll pledge my love anew. My dear, this souvenir will help me to remember. Here's my heart, when we part. Here's my
Betsy, I can't let you take this risk.
There isn't much time left. We've got to think of a plan. I know what we do. We'll stop the cart. And you hide under the stairs. Under the stairs.
Oh, yes, under the stairs.
I'll call the sentry and tell him you're ill. And when he comes down and bends over the cot to examine you, I'll hit him with a tray.
But, Betsy, what about you?
Never mind about me. You fix the cart. Hurry. Forget the plan. You can just walk. He's asleep. My arms, it's adorable. It's deplorable that you are that you are never, ever here.
And so I sailed for England alone.
And you all know the rest of the story. We never caught Putnam nor Washington, and the Americans gave us a devil of a thrashing. And let's hope that Mrs. Murray stays out of Canada while we still have it.
Outwitted by two beautiful women. You both should be thoroughly ashamed of yourselves. You're a disgrace to British tradition. By gad, how I envy you that experience.
Well, the fortunes of war.
Oh, interesting item in the shipping news. HMS Plymouth docked from the colonies today. Yeah, a lot of Americans on board. What's this? Mrs. Margaret Murray and her niece Betsy? I say, did you hear that howl? Messy affair. What?
Well, Mrs. Murray, please, you have your own country. Just leave England alone.
How nice to see you again, General. And how nice to see you, John. A general at last.
I never thought I'd see you again, Betsy. What brings you to England?
Oh, we're shopping, too. Betsy, I don't think we're going to have to look much further. No. I see what I want. Here in my arms, it's adorable. It's deplorable that you were never there.
You must be old enough to love. Young ones are cold ones compared to the old ones. You must be old enough to love.
Our happy days have come. Those slight delays have come. The bright sun's rays have come from out the sky.
No more harm is here. No, there's you for me.
For here in my arms it's adorable, it's deplorable that you were never ever here. But so very great, just so very great. My and my salvation, here in my
Max Sleeman presents Dearest Enemy. Music by Richard Rogers. Lyrics by Lorenz Hart. Book by Herbert Fields. Dearest Enemy has been presented by your Oldsmobile dealer. Watch for Max Liebman's next spectacular, The Maurice Chevalier Show, Sunday, December 4th, starring Maurice Chevalier, singing new songs and old favorites. Also starring Jeannie Carson and Pat Carroll. Special attraction, Marcel Marceau from Paris, hailed as the most sensational pantomimist of our times. The Maurice Chevalier Show, Sunday, December 4th. On Saturday, December 24th, Max Liebman presents Victor Herbert's Babes in Toyland. Saturday, Christmas Eve, Babes in Toyland. This has been an NBC TV network presentation.